Hey viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. In this episode, we are going to talk about the ENTJ and ENTJ compatibility. So in a lot of my previous episodes, I have already described the ENTJ because I am an ENTJ myself. So we are going to zoom in right away to talk about what happens when an ENTJ falls in love with another ENTJ. When an ENTJ meets another ENTJ, two extreme things might happen. The first thing that might happen is mutual attraction. Because the ENTJ is so similar to another ENTJ, they immediately find themselves attracting each other. On the other hand, it is also possible that an ENTJ might trigger feelings of rivalry in another ENTJ. This may be possible because both ENTJs are so similar and they are both very competitive. Well, who knows? This feeling of rivalry may eventually develop into a feeling of attraction and they might fall in love. Nonetheless, we are going to talk about what happens when an ENTJ meets another ENTJ in a love situation. First of all, because the ENTJ and another ENTJ are so similar and they immediately recognize it because of NI, they are very likely to trust each other. And this trust can immediately spiral into a whirlwind relationship. So when an ENTJ meets another ENTJ and they really like each other, things can go super fast. The person comes dashing and sweeps you off the feet. Now what do I mean by super fast? It's like a relationship in a super accelerated mode. They meet on the first time, they talk, they really enjoy themselves, and they end up on the first night. You know, I know. You ready? Let's get it. You know, I know how. Because both ENTJs have TE as their dominant function, so what is going to happen is that they might very likely start to plan their future together. So in an ENTJ-ENTJ relationship, things are going to happen very fast. And it is very likely that within the first or the second day of their meeting, they are going to declare and profess their love for each other. And within 1 week, they might already start talking about the future, like living together as a single couple unit. And of course, there is going to be a lot of bedroom activities. Ooh. So things between two ENTJs are going to happen so super fast. It seems as if they have condensed 3 years of relationship into just 3 weeks. So things that are supposed to happen within a year happens within a month. This is because the ENTJ himself is very decisive and very action oriented. So both of them are going to take action very quickly. And because the ENTJ is a judger, once they have committed to a relationship, they are going to make things happen at super fast speed. So in a way, this ENTJ propels the other ENTJ to go into a fast mode, and it is mutual. Now a second thing about the ENTJ pairing is that both ENTJs are very likely to lay all their cards on the table right at the beginning of a relationship. There are two reasons for this. This is because the ENTJ is very likely to trust each other. Also, this is because the ENTJ does not like ambiguity. So if you lay all the cards on the table, we can actually talk about our resources, what we can do for each other, how we're going to go about this relationship. It makes things very efficient for each other. So in a way, the guessing game is very much reduced. So besides going on a whirlwind mode and a future planning mode, the third characteristic of the ENTJ and the ENTJ pairing is you can be yourself. Because the ENTJ can understand a fellow ENTJ so well because they have exactly the same cognitive functions, they are likely to understand each other very well, and as such, they can just start to be themselves very early in the relationship. There is no need for pretension. There is no need for niceties. So do away with the flowers, do away with the candlelight dinner. Just start to be yourself. No need polite presents. And because of a lot of skipping of this normal routine dating procedures, this is also why the relationship between the ENTJ and the ENTJ appears to be accelerated, because they quickly zoom into a period whereby they appear to be like a 6-month-old couple when they are only 1 week old. Now in an ENTJ-ENTJ relationship, what might happen is that the ENTJ may bring out the weaker side of the other ENTJ, and this is also neutral. So what this means is that a male ENTJ can cause a female ENTJ to become more feminine. So for example, the male ENTJ can cause the female ENTJ, who is usually more masculine in her daily lives, to become more feminine. But she's loving it. She loves this vulnerability that the male ENTJ is giving her. And in turn, this female ENTJ just wants to take care of this male ENTJ. I'm losing it. So in a way, because the weaker side of each other is exposed, they become more vulnerable to each other, but at the same time, they can trust each other with this vulnerability. So in a way, this relationship is magical.
Oh, what an enchanting place!
At other times, it is also possible that the ENTJ will bring out the other ENTJ's inner child. So both of them can suddenly become rather childlike. So in a way, I do see a lot of potential in an ENTJ-ENTJ pairing. Nonetheless, there is no MBTI pairing that is perfect. Because the ENTJ uses TE as a dominant function, what this means is that the ENTJ can offer the other ENTJ more knowledge. However, they may not help each other much more in the aspect of perspective. So what this means is that the ENTJ is very likely to help each other in a love relationship to have a more developed TE. However, if TE is already very highly developed in each of the ENTJ, they are very unlikely to help each other make TE even better. And this is especially true for SI, because both the ENTJs have SI as their blind spot. So what this means is that both ENTJs may actually continue to be more disorganized, and even now more so, because they are encouraging each other in that aspect. And what this means is that the ENTJ is very likely to have no improvement in the form of organizing themselves. They can be a little bit messy and random. An ENTJ and ENTJ pairing may make this situation even worse. Now, given that the ENTJ is very naturally into self-development, there is actually nothing much more to learn from another ENTJ. However, because the ENTJ is so similar to the fellow ENTJ, they are very likely to be very much into each other, at least emotionally and mentally. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI and ENTJ. Do watch out for our future videos down the road, and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye!